Good evening to everyone. Welcome to the Unit 6 of the National Entrepreneurship Development Program. Today, we are going to discuss about startup building, what it takes to build your own startup, and also how you can use intellectual property around your innovation as a leveraging tool that will help you building your startup. And also, we are going to share some of the experiences from one of the successful entrepreneurs in our ecosystem. So the lectures today are actually lined up in three parts. First, we have Michael Martin from US, and also then Kirti Kodituaku talking about his own startup, and then Amalik Hettige to talk to you about intellectual property, particularly the patent journey. Let me first introduce our first speaker today. Our first speaker of the day is Mr. Michael Martin from USA. Thank you very much and good morning to Michael. We appreciate you joining this program as a very special person who has enormous amount of experience in this field, and he graciously agreed to talk to our participants on this program. So Michael holds positions at EI, DuPont, PPG Industries, Shibagiki, and also at the University Intellectual Properties at Michigan State University and Virginia Tech. And he's an experienced professional in small TTO office management and also leveraging limited resources and growth of community economic development strategies. He was twice elected the trustee of the Licensing Executive Society, LES, and is appointed as an international delegate to LES International. Has involved with over 100 university startups, so quite a broad experience he's bringing into this program. He has been a consultant for many programs, including AAAS in 6 US university program, US DOC, that is Tunisia program, EPO in Malaysia, USAID in Philippines, and also a WIPO program that covered many Asian countries, including Sri Lanka. And he holds a bachelor's in chemical engineering, a master's in business administration, and he's a certified licensing professional. So without further ado, I would like to call upon Michael to deliver his talk today. Michael, over to you.
What I want to start with is the idea of entrepreneurship. It's basically has been defined since the 19th century as the willingness to take risk for business creation and business startup. I believe it's an action and attitude. First, the action is going forward with the startup, all of that, what that requires. The attitude is the willingness to take risk. So if you have difficulties with the idea of taking risks, for example, if I laid a plank on the floor of wood, you would gladly feel comfortable walking that plank. If I raised that plank up 6 feet and blindfolded you, that would be significant risk that you would have difficulty doing. That is like starting a business, having that plank raised up. Most folks wonder where will it be? Because when you are a business startup, you're going to wear many hats. And when you put some of those hats on, you're going to get very bad advice. Here's my experience. First, look to your friends and family. What you will find within that group of people that you admire, that they have experience possibly in being able to hire good people and keep them, or being able to find financing and maintain their business, or they are a successful marketing agent. They've always had good, solid retail sales. So find those friends, take them out to lunch, because everybody loves to talk about how they do their business. Then the second place to look, oh, by the way, when you get six of these creative people that are in your life, invite them to be on your board. Make certain you have the necessary liability insurance, of course. The next is the community. And here I have some examples of a community port just in Virginia, where we have incubators and accelerators, and we have venture capital funds. When I was in Michigan, the state itself invested in venture capital funds. My friend in Tunisia is now the a direct fund of funds where the government is investing in a fund of funds, and that fund invests in entrepreneur or in venture capital funds. They also have accelerators and incubators in Tunisia, as they do in Jordan. So this is a global effort to create an what's called an entrepreneurial ecosystem. I I think that's a very glamorous term, but what it basically means is it is important to any economy to have these new startups. And so they are trying to bring together the necessary resources for you. I'm going to go through the next couple of slides rather friendly, right, rather quickly. But you'll see the most access to capital is from friends and family. Government program in the United States that takes a concept through what we call the valley of death, where very little capital is available, and these are the prototype or commercialization phase. As I said, from Babson College study, over 72% of funding comes from friends and family. But you need to treat them as you would any investor. You need to demonstrate to whomever you're approaching for risk capital, that you have what is called skin in the game, that you will also be sharing the risk, either by deferring salary or actually funding from your own personal savings. You also need to share with them what is your competitive advantage. Today, you'll probably be learning about marketing, and that's basically going to share with you the tools of communicating your competitive advantage to your customers and to potential investors. Bootstrapping is another major method. Now that's a belief that the income from sales can fund the growth of the firm as well as maintaining the existing base for manufacturing. But you must know who your customers are. You have to have orders in place. Here's where you start to learn about debt because you can go to your bank or a local, what we have in the United States is something called a BIDCO. It's a bank that takes on risky loans. And what they require often is a high interest rate or some security. So you must have orders in hand. Manage your accounts receivable. It is embarrassing to ask for somebody to pay a bill. It's just business. And if you see a risky customer out there that may want a large order, but they may be early in the stage of development, want to redirect your business, you can always say no. I mentioned a term angel investor, and that's a term of art in the United States, although I've seen it experienced in other countries. Uh, Angel investors are individuals who have been successful themselves and are willing to invest in technology. Uh, some are willing to invest in retail and service, but most are looking for that next big hit. Uh, in the investment terms, it's called a unicorn. But uh, it's technology based. They know that at the end of the day, the assets of the business walk out the door. because they are involved in information technology or computer enhancement of some sort. What they're looking for, in addition to technology, is a strong barrier to entry for the competition. And they're looking for high growth prospects. They're looking for a viable exit opportunity. So they want you to show them that you plan on growing to be so large that you will be either acquired or that you will uh, be an initial public offering. I had my timer set so that I could stay within my 10 minutes. And I'm going to close with this. Think like a VC, a venture capitalist. What they're looking at is they want, if they're bringing investment dollars and it's a high risk situation, they will want 40 to 60%, regardless of what you think your valuation is. And later on in this course, I expect you will be hearing, how do you value your firm? I may be addressing some faculty and grad students here. You have to define what your role will be in the startup, because you do have a day job. And a venture capitalist will want to know what your role is in the business. They will want business people to come in. And here's something that I know is difficult, particularly for technology startups. That's only 5% of the value of the startup. The rest is the human resource, the willingness to take risks. So I believe I've reached my 10-minute limit. If there's any question, I did have an example of a startup that I worked on very quickly. Luna Innovations had Metalla fullerenes, which are buckyballs filled with various metallic species. They had support from from 3 universities. They had government contracts that helped bridge that valley of death, and they had very strong connections to corporate who were considering potential acquisition. So they were an ideal target for venture capital investment. Ultimately, they did go with an initial public offering, and I've known them for over 25 years. They're still in business, and that's the biggest example of success. Questions? Why don't we stop the share and see what we have in the chat room? Okay, other than hello. Rohan has my contact information. So if any of you have questions about what I've talked about this morning, or excuse me, this evening, please feel free to send me an email.
Sure.
And Rohan has my other contact information, and I am on WhatsApp.
Sure. I will collect
Thank you
the
very much for this opportunity.
questions. Thanks, Mike. One question for all of our participants' benefit, and what do you identify as substances or different pieces in a startup ecosystem?
Oh, well, what is the components of an ecosystem? I'm going to start with a very basic feature. First, of course, a culture that encourages taking risk
Mhm.
and being able to garner the rewards of it. The second is something very simple, bankruptcy law.
Mhm.
In order to take risk, you have to understand that your personal assets don't have to be completely, they will be at
Oh,
risk,
right.
but you want to be able to declare bankruptcy. The third is something I described, which is the support mechanisms such as incubators, accelerators, uh, angel capital networks. I was involved in Lansing, Michigan, by starting something called the Capital City Entrepreneurship Council, and we brought in accountants and bankers and angel investors that we knew. We invited people to submit business plans. Then we assigned
Mhm.
volunteers to help them polish those business plans so that they could make a presentation at a monthly meeting. We kept the angel investors' identity confidential so that they wouldn't be bothered continuously. So, an underlying support mechanism in the willingness to take risk, encourage it. Number two, having support systems available to help startups go through all of the functions of business development. And number three, basic laws such as bankruptcy law.
Oh, excellent. And Mike, there's another question coming up in the chat. Can't a startup become successful without the support of angel investors or venture capitalists?
Definitely. And as you note, I said, according to that research, 72% of startups are funded by friends and family. So don't make
Yep.
your aunt or uncle angry at you because they could be the source of your capital. However, again, you need to treat them like an investor. That is, you need to demonstrate to them that you have a competitive advantage, that you've targeted your customers, and that you can bring your own investment to the endeavor so that they will see you committed. And I also recommend, I mentioned having luncheons with business advisors. I also recommend having lunch with your friends and family that invested so that you can update them. Transparency to the investors.
Excellent. That was fantastic, Mike. Highly educational and inspirational. And I thank you on
Well,
behalf
thank
of
you.
everyone here for sparing your time with us this morning in US. And I will be sure of getting back to you the questions participants might have as we go, and by email, I'll get in touch with you. Thank you very much, Michael, and have a good day.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
All right. So now it's time to introduce our speaker today. The formal unit presentation. So today we have a little change in the schedule because Tasim Rafi, who is supposed to be here today, is at the hospital after contracting dengue. So therefore, I asked whether Kirti Kodituaku, who was supposed to deliver Unit 12, right, can come forward and speak to you today about how to build your business. Basically, picking up from Michael presented, right? So Kirti is the co-founder and CEO of Effective Solutions Private Limited that excels in biomedical innovations, IoT technologies, and software solutions. And the company was founded in the Global Startup Labs program at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Keith is also the co-founder and director at Gendo Innovations Private Limited, which is a biomedical R&D company present in Sri Lanka and Japan. So both these companies were formed with the initiation of Kirti, and they were named the best startups at the National ICT Awards recently. And for that matter, Kirti was awarded the best startup CEO. Congratulations, and we are proud of you, Kirti. And Kirti holds a US patent for innovating a system and method for monitoring vascular system health. That's basically heart health, right? He won an NSF grant to develop a technology to identify chronic kidney disease, CKDU. Everybody knows about it. In Sri Lanka, it's a serious problem in north central province. And also dengue leakage stage. And again, this is through vascular abnormalities. He is a degree holder, BSc Engineering in Electronics and Telecommunication from the University of Morocco. Kirti, we're very glad for having you here. Kirti is an all-rounder. You know, he's a techie. He knows about technology. He knows about business development, and he also has already ventured into patenting. So probably he will present you all these three pieces together, how you get technology and innovation and patent and then put it into business. And also he will share his experience developing the business in Sri Lanka, which is not very supportive for business. Remember, Michael was talking about ecosystem for startups. We hardly have any. So these people have done it in the hard way. So their experience will be of immense value for all of us. Kirti, thank you very much for joining this evening, and it's all yours.
Thank you, sir. I think, yeah, I'm very happy to speak to you today. And also, it's a pleasure to get the introduction from you because you're my lecturer. So, so you guided us during our undergraduate studies and after the graduation, supported us. I think for the audience, I must tell you, Professor Rohan is a treasure for you. Now he'll be guiding you throughout the program, and we are very happy to share our experience with you all, so that all the entrepreneurs from Sri Lanka will be a successful bunch of people, not only in Sri Lanka, but also in the world. So without taking much time, right, I'll
Kirti,
directly go to the...
sorry to interrupt. Would you mind turning on your video so that we can have a good connection with the participants? If you don't mind, of course.
Oh, yeah. Let me try. So I have a little bit of issue with the video today.
Then don't worry. Yeah, let's go ahead with the
okay.
presentation. All right. Thank you.
So, yeah. So during this presentation, I'll be sharing our journey. And also, like Professor said, at the latter part, I'll share how patenting and the patent process became valuable for journey. So with that understanding, so let me first share some of our achievements and where we are. And with this slide, I would like to share our story from the beginning. So like Professor said, as a company, we became the best startup. And also last year, I became the CEO of the year. And the year 2 years before that, I became the emerging ICT leader of the year. So likewise, there has been many things, many achievements during the journey. But I would say this is just the beginning. And also our roots are much deeper than that, because these milestones were not achieved with the overnight effort. So if I share a story, it goes till our undergraduate studies at University of Morottiwa. So during the time I was doing my undergraduate studies at electronics department, I have seen many innovations happening. And I have seen many individual characters who are very capable, and they have international level talents. But the problem is the industry. In Sri Lanka, there were not many industries. All the people who are graduating, they were thinking of working for a foreign company or getting a good salary and living a good life. So that was some of the biggest goals. But what I thought was, like, this is just a basic thing, and we are not living up to our potential. So that time, as an undergraduate, I wanted to explore things. So by that time, so we didn't have a company, but we had a passion. We had that passion to build something new to the world. So that was a big motivation, but someone can say it's a foolish motivation, right? Because the thing is, as undergraduates, you can find so many undergraduate people here or in the society, right? But they don't have any access to the money or access to the resources. But they might say something like this. The point is, so at that point, we may look like that, but we had a bold vision. When you have such a vision and you have energy to drive that vision, you will achieve something. So that was the motivation. And I was telling my friend, there's no no barrier or no sin of dreaming. Like, if you want to dream, you can dream. So that was the idea during this journey. And when we started this whole journey, so we had a lot of problems, because like I said, we wanted to build something new to the world, but it was very hard to start with our ideas. We didn't have funding. We didn't have any money. So what we did was, as university undergraduates, so I spoke to my friends who were capable people. I said there were capable people in our university. So I wanted to get their commitment to this goal. And I was successful. I was able to build a team who are believing that kind of a vision. So that is how we started our company. So with that basis, we managed to start some revenue generating projects and generate some revenue to our group. And after we we have seen a successful way of generating money. So we thought we register a company and make it formalized. So that was the beginning of our journey. And then after we setting up the company, we were in a different game. But still, we were undergraduate by that time. So we wanted to manage with our studies and the company activities. So therefore, we have to manage our time, and we managed with a lot of challenges. But at the same time, we gave our highest priority to the company activities and managed to structure the company in a way that we run a profitable business model, plus we run our research and that kind of product developments inside the company. So that is how we organize the whole thing. And at the fourth year juncture, like at the point of graduation, we had a company who's making a significant amount of revenue to sustain ourselves. So myself and my team of friends, there were 4 people with me. Altogether, we were a bunch of 5 people. So we decided we don't go for a job, right? So we continue the company operation, and we thought it may be challenging at the very beginning, but this is the time to take that risk. So now we are very happy about that decision, because the time that we were taking that risk, we were free birds. So if you are a entrepreneur who's going to start a company, sometimes you may be working now. So with the current career you have, and with the commitment you have to the family, maybe you have the commitment to the societies or whatsoever. But as undergraduates, we didn't have any of the commitments like in that nature. So if there are undergraduates now in this audience, I believe there are many, right? This is the best time for you to try out new things. Like, you may be thinking that you may not have money, you may not have enough resources, but you have the best resources in your hand. That is the time, right? And time and the free mind, right? And the young energy. So with all this, what you need is a vision, right? So you need a vision and a passion to drive your startup journey towards the success. So this is not a new thing. So this is how all the successful startups, I mean, not only in Sri Lanka, but also in all the countries, they have followed a different version of this kind of a story. But if you are starting something like this, so you must align your goals and your business ideas in that kind of a pattern, right? So with this, I will share some more stories now. Now I already shared the beginning, how we started our company with no money in our pockets, right? But after that, so we managed to reach out to the leading local and global companies. How we did it, right? That is the big question, right? So as a company, right, we were not following money. So we were following the technology excellence. So that was the fundamental value we have. So what we did was we initiated some key projects with government institutes and also national institutes, also some charity organizations like that. So we what we focused was their strength, the customer's strength, and how they're going to benefit with the technological development that we do. So with that kind of a partnership, they opened the doors. So this is how we got the connection to World Health Organization, and then World Health Organization connection opened that to NetTracker, that is a Japanese owned company. You may know NTT company in Japan. So likewise, we have been able to reach out to a lot of international customers, because we were a company who was focusing in that value, and also like we said, the technology excellence cannot be delivered overnight. So we need a lot of R&D in the company. So we had an organization structure to have 2 departments in our company. So what we did was we had a department called enterprise department in our company to sustain to focus on the business side, and that department makes the revenue, and the research and development department makes these new technologies and also improvements of the existing projects. So that is how we managed to align this operation so that we deliver the value, right? But during this journey, everything was not a easy thing, right? So sometimes we face a lot of challenges, because some of the companies who work with us, they didn't pay us on time, or sometimes they had issues to continue the payments. So likewise, we had a lot of challenges. Sometimes there were parties who were mediating us, they didn't honor the contract. So these are the things that you might see in this journey, but you should not stop with these things. So the reason why I'm not even highlighting those things, because those things are just milestones, and they just gave us some experience and experience to sharp our get us sharpened, right? So otherwise, the thing is, like, if you don't find the hurdles, you may not get a chance to identify the real world problems. But with all those all those challenges, you should make sure you have your core values with you, and also you continue to drive yourself towards that vision. So this is the most important thing. So if you are going through that path, then definitely a lot of people will notice you, and they will come with you, and they will collaborate with you, because you are an opportunity for them. You should never be a competition. You should never think like that. You should not be a threat to anyone. You should be an opportunity to everyone. That is the business angle of anything. Because we as humans, we are creating business to the betterment of the society. So in that case, all the people are stakeholders in the society. So this is how we made our strategic partnerships in the local market. So, do you have any questions? Anyone? I heard some noise. No. I hope not, right? So anyway, so what I was trying to say is, so when we move forward, right, we wanted more partners. Now, say for example, we established a partnership with Sri Lanka Telecom Mobitel, right? So why we did that? Because as a company, we wanted a partner who can reach out to the entire country overnight. And if we do that alone, right? If we do that by ourselves, that we cannot do it within the lifetime, right? So it takes more than like 10 to 15 years of time and money investment to reach out to that level. But if you assign some portion of your revenue, or if you assign some part of your business deal for the strategic partners, right, you will reach this entire market access within a very short period of time. Sometimes you may have to give up some money, but in the future, right, you will get a better return. Not only your partners will also get a better return by doing so. So this is why we have to have strategic partners as and when we go to the stages of your business. Now, that is the external side of it. And the internal side, we should have a team of people, right, who can add value to your strategic management. So this is in one of our company is called Gendo Innovations. In Gendo Innovations, I have this team of strategic managers who has the domain expertise in the international business and in the health health tech and the side and the research and academia. So experts that we should bring in to the board level stage. In your board, you should not be thinking as an individual, right? Because you cannot, right? You cannot become an expert in all the domains. So what you have to do is you build your team so that you be your team, right? Then your whole organization will become an expert organization. So this is why uh, as a team, we managed to start ours. So we could do it at the very beginning. So I was not having a desk expert on board. I mean, we had a who can drive nation up that when Professor, if you can help me,
It was like 1
which
minute, just 1 minute.
part,
Yeah.
before I was dropped.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So what I was telling is, let me summarize what I was trying to say. So as an entrepreneur, right, you should be thinking of building your company with the domain expertise. So in order to build the domain expertise, you cannot get 5 PhDs, right? You don't have time to do that, right? You have time to focus on your core expertise, right? Spend that full time to build your expertise and bring team members at strategic level, right? With field expertise. So this is exactly what we do, because in our company we have a couple of branches. Now I'm just highlighting one branch. This is about the gender innovations part. So in there we clearly focus on the health tech side. So there we have an expert in the international market, and we have expert in the investment handling, and then there's expert in the hospital management. So likewise, we have different experts who bring value to the strategic management level. So this is what we should do as an organization, right? So I hope that part is clear to you, Professor.
Yeah, I think it's clear. I think it's clear. I think
Right.
the point
Okay.
is, when you grow your business, you have to identify different branches in your company and have different teams to work on those areas, right?
Yeah, and also the most important thing is we should try to bring the industry experts in each field to the company at different levels. So then
Excellent.
the company can become very competitive in the market, and the market will see the value of the organization, because the organization is run by the team of experts, and then it's all about the trust that we have to the customers, right? So the customers will trust the company because of the team, right? So that is important. So I think these things we'll discuss in detail, because in your theoretical sessions, I want to share our story along with those theoretical things, so that you map these things with your learnings, right?
Excellent.
All right. Let me share some of the technical developments we did, because otherwise I was sharing just the company journey. So let me share what kind of thing we can do, because you might be thinking about the different kind of startup ideas. So I just want to highlight some of the products we do and how we're going to use the technology to build a new business by identifying a global problem, right? So this is diabetic retinopathy, right? Looking at the image itself, you can understand how we analyzed the retina and identified these blue color marked areas. So these blue color marked areas are the areas that was affected from the diabetic retinopathy. Now, this is about a brain-computer interface, but you may not understand if I say so, right? This is a product to control the drones from the brain signals, right? So this is how we gamified this brain-computer interface, right? And this kind of a product can become a very good product to use in the corporate sector, so that they can play as a relaxation game, and also a game that the people can improve their the focus level. So that is how we designed this brain-computer interface at this point. But you know, with the brain-computer interface, you can do a lot of things. But for the moment, right, we want to give the least complex product to the market, and then we can address the general crowd, and the crowd that can see the value of the technology. So that is how we have identified our target group and the usage of the technology, right? I'm not going to play the video. This is there in the YouTube, so you can watch it. So, okay. Now this one, this is about the technology we invented to early detect the cardiovascular diseases. Now, you might be wondering how we do it, right? So the cardiovascular diseases has multiple stages. So we identified with the medical theories, right? We identified that the endothelial dysfunction is the earliest detectable stage of this problem, right? Why this is important? Cardiovascular diseases, we know this is the #1 killer, right? And we all change our lifestyles because we are afraid of this, right? We might right? So this is how the people see this, right? And people know the magnitude of that magnitude of that problem, right? So this is how we identified it. Actually, we started these trials while we were doing our undergraduate studies. This product has taken long years to do the clinical studies, trials, along with the Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo. So we have done a lot of trials, studies, and with that, we identified that have need to now. There onwards, we start the journey of patent. Why we need the patent? So I made a statement now. We have invented something unique to the world. And so that statement, right? So you may...
All right, Kirti, you're good to go.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Professor. So,
sorry about the disturbance, everybody.
No problem. So yeah, I'll summarize, and we'll start with this. So what I was telling is, like, so we invented a theoretical we invented the theory, and we invented the clinical procedure, and we invented the technology. So, but what we had was, like, we made a statement. We said we have something unique. We have something unique to the world. But in the business world, right, you can make this as a marketing term, but no one is going to believe it, right? So that is where we have the patenting process. So patenting process is there that validity to the business world, right? So the patenting process is used purely to use that kind of validations in the business world, right? It's why I'm using the word business world, because there are things we do right? These kind of inventions, and we do those things in the academic world, right? There, we do it for the knowledge creation purposes. But here, the patenting we do, right, for the business purposes. Right? So that is why I use that specific word, right, just to differentiate what is that process, right? And with that beginning, right? So we decided to go through the patenting process, but it's not an easy thing, right? I don't know whether you have gone through that process yet or not, but when we were thinking about that, we didn't have money also because to reach up to the US patent level, you have to spend a lot of money, right? I'm not talking about a few millions, it's many millions, right? So that's why, right, we have to be very serious about our business idea and the product that we are going to patent, right? And once you achieve the patent, your business idea should be covering, right, that value of the patent, right? So these are the things that you should justify before you enter to the patent journey. I'm talking about the business angle of the patent because the theoretical angle, I think our next lecturer will take you through in detail, right? But to fund this patent process, you have to have those kind of justification at your strategic level, right? So what we did was the exact same thing. So we first went to the patentability search. There we can identify, after the patentability report, we can identify, okay, what are the things that has prior art, or that what are the things that we can have a possible have in our claims, right? What are the things that are possible? So likewise, we went through that process. So, and then we changed our drafting, and when we filed, and then we did the PCT filing, and then we went through the international reviews, and then when we went to the country filing. So likewise, at the end, right, we managed to secure the patent rights in United States. So by the time when we were reaching out to that level, so I think according to our knowledge, we may be one of the first biomedical engineering startups from Sri Lanka to do that kind of achievement for the history of this country. And also when it comes to the Japan patent, so we secured patent rights not only in United States, we secured in Japan also, right? So we couldn't find any other like patent other than this the tractor thing that Professor Vijayawardena has done, right? So this is subject to the knowledge we have, right? So arguably we have achieved something significant, and and also in the international market we have achieved something valuable, right? We can take that out to the international market because it's been valued for already valued for a few millions of dollars. So we are waiting until we reach to the right level of the value, right? So that is how this patent journey can pay you back, right? So with this slide, so I will finish my presentation. So I mainly highlighted these few achievements because the patenting process helped us to represent at the WIPO level, like World Intellectual Property Organization has selected few case studies in the artificial intelligence. We we managed to feature there, and also we were lucky to represent in their conference in the last year, right? So they had an artificial intelligence and IP conference, so we managed to represent that also. So these are the things that we can achieve, right, by going through that kind of rigorous process. So I think my allocated time is over by now. So I'm open to the questions. Yeah. So with this, I'm concluding. So if you want to reach me for any support or anything, I'm just sharing my contact details, right? So you can reach out to me at any time, right? So with that,
Excellent.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very
And
much for listening. Thank you.
for all the participants, Keith is a very generous mentor for you guys. If you want to have his mentorship, some advice even later on, he has now shared his contact details. He will share his experience going through this innovation journey, maybe long before most of you guys. So he can share how to his experience and advice how to get out of some of these problems. So if I get few highlights, you can actually post your questions in the chat room. I just want to highlight a few things Kirti mentioned, that he started this whole thing when he was an undergrad, and when he had time and free thinking, right? So these things are very, very important. You need to have time, you need to have free thinking. Okay. And before that, Martin said you should be able to or ready to take risks. Okay. So now these are the things as an entrepreneur, these are the qualities, right, in you that make you an entrepreneur. And then Kirti said we need to solve a problem that the world really need, right? People would like to pay you and get you a service for what you have done. So you have to figure out what it is. Okay. See, it's not like selling potatoes or onions, right? So people can do that, right? Or opening a restaurant and like preparing food and sell it. It might go or might not go, right? So sheer luck. So, but there is a process if you want to engage in, so that you can do your homework and make it much more profitable and sustainable, long lasting. So that is Kirti's journey, right? It took a long time, but he developed year by year by year by year up to, until today. Now he's a big guy, right? He built the whole castle himself together with his friends. The other thing I wanted to point out is team building. He built the team. He did not try to do everything himself. And I'm sure some of you guys who are already in business, you are trying to do everything yourself because you feel fear to get people on board, right? Whether you have to share your money and it will be less profitable and all that. So you don't want to do that. So this is again risk averse. And entrepreneurship is all about taking calculated risks. So you have to get people on board. And also, Kirti said he got people who are already reputed in the field. Everybody knows about, right? So if you want to build your startup, you have to bring some of these people and tell to the world, okay, so I'm not alone. There are big people around me and we are doing business. So you get accepted in the market, right? So these are very, very important things. And then finally, he said about patents, right? So how can you secure your technology that you have developed? And how does the business world accept it? It's through by a patent. If you have a patent, it means that it is an invention that the world has not seen before. This is very unique, right? And it is assured, certified. But the problem is how much money you have to pay for that. Let's say it's few million rupees, right? And you need to have a plan to recover it after getting patent. Otherwise, it's just a loss of money, right? You get a patent paper and you lose few million rupees. So it's not profitable. So therefore, there should be a commercialization process or some way for you to recover that money through the patent. And there are ways to do that. Tomorrow, Dr. Richard Cahoon will take a long journey with you about patent management. Then he will explain how it is done. And also, after this lecture, we have Amali waiting. Amali will also take you through the patent journey and tell you how you can commercialize patents. So these are the few highlights, not everything. What I picked up from Kirti's talk. And there's a question. There's a raised hand. Nasi Salim. Yeah, you can ask your question, please.
Sure.
Nasi?
Thank you, Professor. Thank
Yep,
you
go
for
ahead.
pointing out those things. Yeah.
Kirti, there's a question. Somebody wants to ask a question.
Yes.
Nasi Salim? I think Kirti is
Yes.
still there.
Yes, Salim. Yeah. Also, I see 2 questions in the chat also.
All right, so we can take those 2 questions. Yes.
Yeah, and Salim, yeah. So I'll answer to those 2 questions, right?
Right.
So first one is asking by Rifak. So Rifak is asking, when you don't have expertise in some area, you can afford to hire someone, competitive salary. So this is an easy answer, right? So you onboard that person either as a partner of the business, you offer that person's stake in the business because they bring value, or otherwise, like you get a agreement with that person, right? To pay later, right? So something like that, right? So those 2 arrangements you can make, right? If you want to hire someone. And for the undergraduate students and maybe the postgraduate students, I want to say something. So, especially the Sri Lanka, right? Especially the Sri Lanka, we have that culture to collaborate on friendly basis, right? So that's a good opportunity for the entrepreneurs, right? If you are thinking of like building the company, right, and bringing this expertise, actually this is not applicable only to Sri Lanka. Everywhere in the world, right? You can bring some resources on friend basis, right? That's something you can do. So in Sinhala we can say like so ඒ වගේ අපිට ගේන්න පුළුවන්, right? So that is how you can do, right? So I hope I gave a detailed answer for the first question. And the second thing, what are you recommending? Is it possible for someone who are starting with a limited capital? Yeah, of course. So because there is, people see capital only as the monetary capital, but with now, I mean, with the current condition, so we see there are other capitals, right? You can have your intellectual capital, you can have your emotional capital, because you're making friends, right? The people, I mean, not lot of people can make friends, right? So likewise, your skills, right? Not just the monetary value. I mean, if I say in the layman terms, not just the money in your pocket, right? But think about the other values. You can use those things as your capital. Now, let's say for an example, you are expert in some field, right? Then there are people who would like to work with you. In that case, you don't have to pay some money, but you have a capital with you. So likewise, think about the capital in a broader way, right? So actually, at the beginning, while we were starting the company, I also didn't know about these definition, but I practically did it, right? But now I know there are multiple types of capital, right? So when it comes to the company's capital, that means all, right? You cannot just stick to the money, right? People don't stay like that also, right? Okay. And then, so if you are purely asking about the money, right? So you can start a company with limited. If your product idea is really worthwhile, then the banks and the investors are there to put money in, right? If not, you might have to fund by yourself. Now, say for example, when we were starting the companies like Jendo, right? They are very deep tech, right? So nobody is going to put money because they don't see a return in the near future. So then initially we had to invest some money by ourselves. So in that case, we generated some money from the projects. So initially we got some customer advances and then started working. So likewise, we generated some money and started investing. So that is how we did it, right?
Excellent. All right,
Okay.
Kirti, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think it's a very, very interesting experience sharing. And on behalf of everybody, I want to say thank you and all the very best for your next endeavor in your business.
Thank
Professor,
you so much.
is it possible to have a question, please?
A very quick one, otherwise
Okay,
we'll be
cool.
running out of time.
Like,
Yes.
just I'm going to get it shorter because
All right.
in Sri Lankan context, not in medical terms, but in media and the projects like for the TV productions or some of the people said with the lawyers we can just go for the copyrights and all. So is there any laws that we have in Sri Lanka that we can
All right. Got it. Vigneswaran, next speaker will explain you all these things.
okay, thank
Sure,
you.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, Kirti, then we will
Thank
leave
you.
you go. Yeah, and hope to see you in the
Okay.
future. Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
excellent.
All the best, everyone. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Kirti. All right, now we have WhatsApp group being formed by Chaminda. Send your numbers to Chaminda. And Chaminda, you send me your number in a text message so that
Okay,
I can
Professor.
follow it up with you later.
Sure, Professor. I will send now.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. Now it's time for us to invite our next speaker. And depending on the time, now it's 8:20. So therefore, we will take about 20 minutes for today because Amali is coming back tomorrow. She can continue from there. Otherwise, it will be too late for everybody. Okay. So our next speaker is Amali Hettige. Amali is the manager of the University Business Linkage Cell of the University of Moratuwa. She has over 4 years of experience in intellectual property management, licensing, negotiation, and technology transfer. In fact, she is the one who is actually handling all of these things at the University of Moratuwa and connecting university to the industry. So it's a very serious job she's doing right now. And she has 10 years of industry experience in treatment plant operations, quality assurance, and sustainability management. That's her other profession. So she has completed several distance learning courses offered by the World Intellectual Property Organization, the highest body for intellectual property in the world, and particularly on prior art search and patent drafting. And that's why she is here today, right? She has also followed WIPO Professional Development Certification in Management and Commercialization of IP Assets, and the IP study course at the Osaka Institute of Technology in Japan. And she has her first degree, bachelor's in molecular biology and biotechnology, and also master's in natural resources management from the University of Peradeniya. So without any further ado, I will leave the participants with you, Amali. Please take it over.
Okay, thank you, sir. So hope I'm audible to you all.
Yes, good.
Okay, so nice to meet you all, and I think I'm happy to be part of this program as well. So now I'll directly move to the presentation because of the time constrictions. Hope you can see my screen as well. I know not like the early one, maybe it is a bit kind of a boring because there are so many theoretical things as well. But I think I have to thank Keerti as well to use some introduction about patent and the validity of patent as well. Otherwise, I think people have some think why we add this intellectual property in this kind of a course. So I think he gave the answer to you all. So basically, I just want to let you know what is an intellectual property. So anything refers to creation of mind, we consider as an intellectual property. So all these definition I taken from World Intellectual Property Organization definitions. And then how it become an asset. So it become an asset when it become intellectual property right. So when it become a right, it give you a legal right to give an inventor or the creator or the owner to protect his or her invention for a certain period of time. So as you need to remember that this is a win-win situation, because when you have intellectual property right, you will disclose your idea or the invention fully. Because of that, you will get an exclusive right for only a certain period of time. So within that time period, you can get the recognition and also get the financial benefits from your invention or the creation as well. So next is, before I move to my main topic, patents, I would let you know about what are the other type of intellectual property as well, because then based on your company, startup company strategy or your company strategy or the business plans, you can decide what kind of intellectual property rights you need to add. It's not must be a patent. It can be a copyright or the related right or the trade secret. For an example, some companies, even an Apple or the Microsoft or even the Amazon, they have different type of intellectual property. They are not limited to patents. They have, for an example, Coca-Cola, they have trade secret as well as they have the design for their bottle, like that. So, but for that decision, you need to have a general idea about what is each of these are defined. So what kind of protection each of these rights can give. The first one is copyright. So what is a copyright? Basically, it is either literary work or artistic work. So just in your mind, it may be seen as either it's a book, just a song. No, not only that. Even your source codes or the databases, even your blogs also covered under rights. So that is the important thing. Even in your source codes also cover and copyrights, because in some source codes there are so many technical details are there. But you have to make sure that in the copyright, so what is the difference between the copyright and the patent? So basically in the copyrights, what you are writing is only covered, not any technical content. Only what you are writing is covered under copyright. But the patents, your technical informations are covered. And also under the related right is, I give an example like this. So when someone is writing a song, it is go under copyrights. And the related right is how they sing a song. For an example, the way of Nanda Amali singing is different from BNS. It is different from the BTS. Even when we hear something, even some commenters, even in cricket match, we saw this one is doing this performance. So that wise, it is that performance are based on that person. So that right is going to the related right. It's not going on copyrights like that. There's another one called trade secret. So what is the trade secret? I think in the country there are some debates as well. What is more valuable? No, there's nothing called more valuable. It is depend on your situation. For an example, trade secret is something we keep as confidential information. But you can either sold it or you can even license this as well. These are the most world famous. Hello. Is there any question?
No, Mali, go ahead. Maybe just a noise.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. So the trade secret, basically, these are the world famous trade secrets. The Coca-Cola formula and KFC chicken recipe, even WD-40 formula. These are the world famous trade secrets. But we need to know that if it is a trade secret, you have your own way of secure your trade secret. Then maybe your idea or the invention or your formula must be kept by few of the people, because if it is disclosed to everyone, it won't be a trade secret. And also it is important to know that after your product is in the market, it can be easily reverse engineering. It can be, then can it be a trade secret anymore? No. And the one person can buy it, then again just broke into part and then reverse engineering it or remake it, rebuild it. In that case, trade secrets won't work. So it's depend on your invention, depend on your situation. You need to identify best is what is the best intellectual property rights you need to apply for. Sorry. And next is the industrial property. So this is the most interested one in most of the startups, even within the University of Moratuwa as well. So under this industrial property, there are patents, trademarks, industrial designs, and geological indications as well. So I'll just go through one by one as well before I move to the patents. So sorry. Yeah. So the trade secret. So trade secret is something distinguished from goods or services from one
Trademarks.
industry or the
Trademarks.
Sorry, trademarks. Yeah, sorry. It is distinguish the good or services from one enterprise to the another enterprise. For an example, if you see these trademarks or the service mark, you can know, this is Google, this is Apple. And just think you see something with this Apple mark, you know, this is for Apple. So that is the value of these trademarks. And there are another two types of marks as well. It is called collective marks and certificate marks. I believe in this one, most of the audience are much more interested with the product marks and services mark. So if it is your company or your startup will be unique, then the people is easily identify you based on your trademark. So it is very important to protect your trademark. I'll give you some example. For example, in Coca-Cola company, their brand value is over 33 billion US dollars, and even they own 500 brands currently. And also, if you take Amazon, they are currently value of their brands is 220 US billion dollars. So that's how it is important. So, but the thing is that you need to identify where you need to apply these type of trademarks or either patents. You need to identify where you need to apply this, because all these marks or all these intellectual property rights, if you need to protect them, you need to have some money. That's why. So those are the things I think within this course you can get those ideas as well, how these strategies can be connected to each other. But I need to show you that how these marks, how these trademarks or IPs value a company, give an asset to a company. So next is the industrial design. So what is an industrial design? It's protect only the outer appearance or the aesthetic look of a product. So basically, this is one of the famous example. This Coca-Cola bottle, it is covered under industrial design, or it's called as design patent. So in Sri Lanka, we call it as industrial designs. So basically, this is not cover any technical or functional features of the product, but it is cover the outer look of your product. And then now I'll move to our main topic, that is patent. So this is, you can see when the patent is granted, this is issued by Sri Lanka Intellectual Property. So I just included that photo of that one, grabbed from the University of Moratuwa granted patent. So basically, now I'll move to what is patent. What is mean by patent? Actually, patent is a document which gives a legal right, a grant to a legal right to its owner. What kind of rights it gives? It's giving you an exclusive right. It is also called as a negative right as well. So what this right give? This right give you to make, use, sell, license, and also it prevents Others from making, using, selling, licensing, or even importing the one you are patented. But you have to keep in mind that this IP, intellectual property rights, including patents, are territorial rights. So basically, where you get your protection only covered with these rights. If you are applying patent in Sri Lanka and you granted the patent in Sri Lanka, so these rights are only covered within Sri Lanka. And then finally, I think already know this one. This is for a defined period of time. Normally in Sri Lanka, it is 20 years of time without lapses. Mean you have to maintain it. You have to maintain. Maintain means there's a cost you have to give to maintain. This is for a 20 years of time. Then I just want to tell you that why we need a patent. Basically, I think Kirti also explaining this. This is protecting your investment, and also it is giving a recognition to your investment or the invention and the company as well. And also it is encouraging inventors, because the patent is something win-win situation. That means you need to disclose everything. You need to disclose your invention, but because of you are disclosing it, the patent office gives you the exclusive right to have the selling, the making and everything. You give the exclusive right. So that's why we need, what is the importance of these patents, and I don't want to tell you one by one because of the time issue. And then I'll move to something important, that is, can we patent everything? No. If it is a patentable invention, these 3 criteria must be fulfilled. Number 1 is it must be new. That is, it is not known by the existing knowledge. That means it is not in the public knowledge. It is not in Sri Lanka. It is compared with the all around the world. It must be new. And it is not in the public domain as well. That is number 1. The second one is it must to have an industrial applicability. That means it must be something usable. Something without usable, they are not giving a patent. The third most important, another important thing is it must have an inventive step, or it's called a non-obviousness. That means the field of art, the skill of art person. For that kind of person, it must be a new. For an example, just think, you are a person who know chemistry. I believe there are people who studied chemistry in this group. So in the people who know about chemistry, they know in a single group, you can replace elements. So you are making an invention only replacing one element from a same group to another element. So in that kind of case, that can be a new thing, but it is not an obvious, non-obvious things for chemistry people. So it is obvious. So that kind of things we can't, they are not giving a patent, because that invention, though it is new, it is not, it not has an inventive step. So so we need to fulfill these 3 requirements if you need to have a patent. That's what the patent examiners are also doing. They are normally check whether your invention is new and it has an inventive step, and also it has an industrial applicability before they granting a patent. And also you want to know that these are the things which are not patentable within Sri Lanka. So this is basically
Somali,
I get from.
sorry to disturb.
Yes.
In about 3 minutes time, we will wrap up the session for tonight,
Okay.
and you can resume tomorrow.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. So basically, I'll just go through this thing a little. So basically, if you are applying for a patent for a country, you have to check the basic thing. These are normally gazetted in every country. So I just grab it from Sri Lanka IP Act. So these are the things which are not patentable within Sri Lanka. So most of the similar things are not patent even in USA or Japan, but there are some differences as well. So in Sri Lanka, these things can't be patentable. Then next is we need to know how to find your invention is new and it has an inventive step. For that, we need to do a prior search. Because of the time today, I'm not going to do a prior search, but I just give you an understanding what is a prior. So prior is, as I explained you earlier, it is everything disclosed to the public. So it is not only considered a patent. It can also be non-patent literatures as well. If it is a technical publication, journal, conference paper, even a blog, even a research paper, marketing material, anything. If it is disclosed something you are explaining, so it can become a prior to your invention. And also you need to know these things. These are the most important things, especially if you are applying for a patent. The patent examiner will only consider the information that is available to the public or the available literature or the available priors before your effective date of patent application. Effective date means your filing date. If you are filing a patent today, though the patent examiner will start your patent examination after 2 or 3 weeks, 3 weeks back, though from the filing date, only before the filing date, they are checked the prior, not only after that. So that is why this effective date or the filing date is important. That's why normally if you want to apply for a patent, you need to apply as soon as possible to have the prior date quick. I think my time is now. So basically, other than this patentability search, there are more other advantages of these prior searches as well. It called as the validity searches and also the state of art searches. These two are basically the validity search are maybe if you need to challenge someone's patent, or if someone is you want to check whether your patent is protected, you can do the validity search. And the next is state of art search. That means basically if you want to know who are the players in this field and whether in which areas you can go and do directly apply your product. So for that kind of things also you can use the prior search. Other than that applying a patent, that means for the patentability search, these things can also be useful for a prior search. So I think up to now I'll finish, because from tomorrow I'll start the prior search.
Yeah, excellent. So let me give you the highlights of what Amali explained in the first part of the lecture. And she said why it is important to get a patent, right? Kirti was benefited because he got his invention patented in US, and it's very valuable now. He can actually sell that patent to someone else if he doesn't want to do business in US using his invention. He can easily put a price tag to that and he can sell it in the US. So he recovers not only the money he spent in the patenting process, but much more than that. So that is why patenting is extremely important. And also, Amali mentioned, it's not only patents, trademark. When you have your own business, design a symbol, right? And that is your trademark. Okay, and register it in National Intellectual Property Organization. It's a small application you have to fill, pay a very small amount of money. You get the trademark and you can use it. So when you sell your products with this trademark, and if your product is of high quality, gradually you will get the reputation by this trademark. It's not your name. Nobody knows who you are, but people will know this brand. Like when we say Coca-Cola, everybody knows in the world, right? And other products in Sri Lanka, say Candos chocolates, Vim liquid, like that, everybody knows, right? So put a branding to your product. It is very, very important. So because of the time limitation, we cannot proceed anymore from this point. And we had some technical troubles that took our time away today, about some 15 minutes in total, I think. So that is what we have lost today. Anyway, thank you very much for joining in. And Amal, there's a quick question. Maybe before we leave, you can answer that
Yeah.
question. The question is, to protect our brand name in Sri Lanka and globally, what are the procedures we should follow? That is the question.
Yeah, so yeah, basically in Sri Lanka you can have the trademark application, but and also if you need to have protection in other countries as well, they have their own applications as well, because these IP rights are territorial, as I told you. So basically, if you need to apply for a patent for a particular either your brand, that means your trademark in a particular country, you need to adhere their laws. For an example, if you need to apply trademark in USA, you need to go through their registered attorney, like that. So
Yeah.
it's depend on country to country, but in Sri Lanka, you can get the application, download the application from National Intellectual Property Office, and then you have to fill the application, and with the application you have to give 3 copies of your trademark, and then with the respective money you have to do your application. But in different countries the application process may be varied, but it's like that.
Right. Excellent.
I
So
hope
again,
I answered.
yeah. Again, this is the advice in very short format. Let's say you have a facial cream, right? You develop your own herbal facial cream and you want to get the patent. It's world first, right? And you try to get the patent. So you have to find out where is your market. Is it Sri Lanka? Is it India? It is UK, USA? You have to find out where is the market, biggest market. If you think that this can be sellable in USA at a very high price and you can make a lot of money out of that, you have to get the patent in USA. And if you think India, nobody is going to use this one, right? Don't waste your money to get the patent in India. So then what will happen is that you go with your business in USA, you make money, but in India, you don't have any protection. So somebody in USA can bring this to India and sell it in India. But that is not a problem to you because you know in India, it's not a big market. It's a small market anyway. So if somebody wants to do the business in India using this one, it's not very profitable. That is why you did not go to India in the first place. So don't worry if anybody wants to do the same business using your product in India, it's not going to be successful because India doesn't have a big market for this product. So you have to figure out where your market is and go for those countries, their intellectual property organization, and file the application, get the patent or trademark or whatever. It's very, very clear. All right, with that, we're going to wind up the session today. And I thank you again for joining today. And we are meeting again tomorrow with Amali and also Dr. Richard Cohn from Cornell University in USA. So thank you very much. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.